Hello everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and I'm here to review The Favorite. And I've been a big fan of Yorgos Lanthimos since The Lobster came out. And then I went to go see Killing of a Sacred Deer last year, and I was really excited when I saw the trailers for The Favorite. Now, he makes some very darkly funny and very unique films that really take you to some dark places, hits you on a lot of different kinds of emotions, and makes you laugh while doing all these really dark, creepy things. And this film is about two cousins who are in the same court who are trying to find their place among this court by manipulating the queen, who's played by Olivia Colman, and the two cousins are Rachel Weisz and Emma Stone. And this honestly is one of my favorite films this year so far. Mostly everything about this film worked for me. And whether it's from Yorgos Lanthimos' direction, which he has such an interesting way of telling a story and pulling back all the threads and the layers of what he's trying to convey to the audience. And he keeps you on your toes because you never really know where his films are going to go. And he has an ability to really engage the audience and have a good, strong energy about it. The atmosphere is very clear. It's dark, but also really campy at moments, and there's a lot of black comedy in this. There's a lot of jokes about dark things, and this film does a nice job of really digging into human nature and how we interact with others when we want something, and what we would do and what lengths we'd go to get that something. And also on top of that, dealing with some interesting political issues in a historical context that you could look at today that are still relevant. And what really goes on between classes as well. Because all the characters in this film, for the most part, like the main characters, are higher class, or used to be higher class and trying to get back there. And how people talk about being there for the people. Are they really? They're really just there to get their own power. And because there's a big power struggle among those three women and the Nicholas Holt's character, Harley, and they're trying to figure out this power struggle and where things lie inside this kingdom, because this is about England fighting with France. And with the atmosphere, this tone is very Yorgos Lanthimos. And it's that, the whole entire thing. You know you're watching one of his films because it gives off a very specific kind of vibe. And this film, you feel for these characters, and you start realizing over time who you should be connecting with and who are really the bad ones. And it has some very interesting character arcs that really pull you in. And what I really like about this film is from start to finish, you feel like you're in the support group, like you're the fandom of who you want to see get out of this ahead of everybody. That changes, and it morphs throughout the film. And because the characters all go on very distinct journeys, and where their character arcs take them, and you feel like you're in a different place from start to finish. And it's that journey across that's really intriguing. Now, in terms of, this was written by Deborah Davis and Tony McNamara, and like I've mentioned before, we have these interesting themes driving the film. This is darkly funny. The dialogue is witty. This dialogue is time period accurate, so some of the dialogue might go over people's heads. I really appreciate it. So many of them are so snarky and awful people. And I do warn you, this film is very raunchy, very sexual, and there's some scenes you probably wouldn't want to watch with your parents there. And I learned that lesson from watching Killing of the Sacred Deer with my mom. Not a good idea. There's a very similar occurrence in this one as in that film that it's just like, well, that happened. And also it is very vulgar in terms of its language, dropping the C word and stuff like that. So this is an R-rated movie. And in terms of the story, it's an intriguing story. These three main characters have so much depth, and they're all interesting in their own way, and you want to spend time with each of them, and their start to finish is really something that draws you into the film and that you really want to take in and continue with this journey and see where it plays out. In terms of pacing, this has such great energy for like 90% of it. And I have to say, kind of like The Lobster, I felt like this film kind of lost it a little bit towards the very end. And it was trying to figure out exactly how it wanted to end and how long it wanted to go, and it kind of lost that energy because up until that point there was so much energy in this film. Robbie Ryan's the cinematographer for this, and this is a gorgeously shot film. Long takes, tracking shots, the way the camera is set up, and there's some extreme wide angle lenses being used in this film that you can see of extremely long hallway stretched out, and you can see the whole entire thing in frame. And that really works. And how this film uses slow motion and scenes to like really draw you in and make you sit and look at the debauchery going on of this upper class society that, you know, the upper class is supposed to say, prim and proper, but there's messed up people. And you really get drawn in, and one of my favorite shots is like there's a duck race. I'm not going to give too much away, but how that scene is shot is remarkably hilarious and poignant in the same way, and really allowing you to dig into this. There's story points that I do not want to give away because the trailers don't. The trailer does a really good job of keeping you in the dark in terms of exactly where this film is going and the interactions between the characters. But in terms of the cinematography, it's gorgeous. The music, there's no composer. Just very similar to Killing of the Sacred Deer, Yorgos Lanthimos used other music, but the music is so well chosen, so put together. It's fantastic. It really fits the film. And this film gives off a Kubrick vibe. So hard, so hard. I feel like Yorgos Lanthimos lends a lot to Stanley Kubrick, and him being one of my favorite directors ever, I'm a huge fan of what Yorgos Lanthimos is doing. Besides towards the end where I felt like it was kind of losing its way a bit or not quite sure how to end, overall I love this film. It's definitely one of the most unique experiences that you're going to see in a theater this year. Highly recommend The Favorite. If you're not really into the raunchiness and just the oddity and the dark nature of a film, this probably isn't for you. But for those who really want to dig in and enjoy the cinematic experience, go check this out. It's popping up in AMCs, it's popping up in indie theaters. Go check out The Favorite. Let me know what you think. Comment. And thank you as always for supporting your Wasteland reviewer.